In September, so between the second and the third vaccine, I contracted COVID. My partner picked it up first of all and then passed it on to me. About 5 days after he got ill, I got ill, but thankfully we were both double vaccinated, both fairly fit and healthy. So actually for both of us, it wasn't a scary experience. We were pretty asymptomatic. I had a few days where I had paracetamol as much as I was allowed to have it. But then after that, towards the end of the 10-day isolation period, it was just a bit of tiredness, but nothing like what's reported or nothing like what people who aren't vaccinated are saying that they suffered from. So I'm really glad I had the vaccinations for it, because actually it was a real worry, especially being pregnant, not knowing how it could or would impact the baby. But there's been no differences, no changes or anything like that. And I think that's mainly down to having had the vaccinations in the first place, so having that extra protection. Then at the end of October, so about 6 weeks later, then my son brought home what we thought was a cold, but it developed and it hit me as the flu virus. And I was ill for about 3 weeks with that. I had 2 weeks off work and all of half term being ill as well. And that one was really horrible. 5 or 6 days into having the flu, I ended up in hospital because I couldn't keep down any fluids or any food or anything. And so that was then the concern of the severe dehydration for me, but then also for the baby as well, because then there'd been no fetal movements for a day because of just I didn't have any reserves left in me. So it wasn't getting the reserves that it needed. I had about a day and a half when my fever didn't really go below 38, 39 degrees, and then that became a worry for the baby. I used to think that being young and fairly fit, that the flu wouldn't really impact me and it wouldn't be that bad or that big a deal if I did get it. But I've honestly never felt so ill in my life as when I had that. I just had 3 days where I didn't move off the sofa, couldn't move off the sofa. So I think from now on, even when I have to pay, I will get the flu jab every winter, just to be on the safe side and not repeat that experience again. I'm really glad that I got the flu jab when I did, so that hopefully that helped make it less serious than if I hadn't have had the flu jab at all. And it was unlucky that I still got it having had the jab, but I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't have had the jab in the first place. The risk of being so poorly without the vaccinations, I think I was really lucky, and actually when I had COVID, I was barely symptomatic at all. And that was a real relief, because it was a real worry how it would impact the baby. So I'm really relieved that I had that added protection. Even though I contracted it, I had that protection and my symptoms weren't that bad.